No one knows where they came from. An ancient evil. Creatures whispered about for generations. Led by the cold-blooded mercenaries. With every man or woman slain, their army grows. Now.
I'm Howie Mandel. Welcome to GSM's Deal or No Deal. The one. Number 13. You need to open 5 more cases before the next offer. Number 2. $1. $1 is off credit. $200 off the board. Deal or no? No deal. Big win.
Sampal Kami said to him, you can see Scotland training in the background there. They need to look out. And they are now the most expensive figures by any Nepal bowler in a one-day international. Gulshan Jha has gone for 87.
It's a brilliant shot here from Harmeet Singh, but again, it's the length that's the problem. It's right in the slot. It's where Harmeet Singh wants it. You're not jamming him for room. He plays with the bottom hand and lets that clear the way up. Nepal fans know it, and you can see him cheering because they're on the big board, but they weren't cheering just a moment ago. Watching their team get sent for 6 here. That's already 16 runs in this final over, and USA putting up some big runs on a wicket that's wearing, that's going to be tough to score on in the second innings, still with overcast conditions.
You sense this late burst from Harmeet Singh is just putting USA further in the box seat. Momentum's always a big thing in between the innings. USA taking that momentum in, already 16 off the final over. You make that 22, I think, unless he's not got enough of it. He hasn't. He's holed out. It will make Jha's figures look a little better, but he's been very expensive. Ironically, it's Anil Sahu who takes the catch, who did put him down off Sampal Kami. Jha has 3 wickets to his name, but he's gone for 87. Nepal, having won the toss, chosen to bowl first. They haven't had a particularly good 3.5 hours, have they? There's been occasional highlights, but ultimately USA have got the better of this first innings. Finally, Jha takes the pace off. It means that Harmeet Singh can't get it over the rope. And after a really entertaining first innings, where USA, for me, have been so good, man, really impressed by their efforts with the bat, they'll post 287 for 8.
And again, they just weathered that initial storm where Karan Casey was bowling well, and then that Karan Casey injury just started a downhill spiral for Nepal where they weren't consistent, they didn't find the right length.
their food. There is the update. Anil Shah, the catcher, did put down Harmeet Singh on what was he on about?
39.
39 at the time, so that cost arguably 20 runs, probably more like 10 because the other batters would have got something. 14 extras, 8 bowlers used. About 12 overs to go, 2 left-handers at the crease.
Yeah, again, just felt that Deepinder Singh Ari could have bowled more, but even throughout the options, you look at Lamachane's figures at 2 for 48. I think they will lie to you just a little bit. Wasn't as consistent as you'd like to. Goshamala, for me, probably the pick of the bowlers. Just how consistent he was in his 6 overs. The only bit of pressure you really felt was building. 2 wickets for Sompal Kami, a wicket for Bertel. But really, I thought it was just a lack of consistency all throughout Nepal's day with the ball in hand.
And you can see that in the economy rates. I agree with you. The only one really to do is his basics right within his game. He can only control what he's doing with the ball. Was Kushal Malla possibly under bowled himself alongside Deepinder Singh Ari? It has been, well, a confounding innings, one that we have found difficult to describe to you at points. We've got 30 minutes to go and rest and get some food into us with all those lovely photos of the Momo you've been sending us. You've made us very hungry indeed. Don't go anywhere too far. Maybe time for a little bit of food back home, a hot drink. Or maybe, since it's a Saturday night, you can pour yourself something stronger. Either way, do come back and join us in about 25 minutes' time from now. Nepal, they're going to need a reasonably unlikely 282 to win.
Three mistakes of using iPhone, I bet you don't know. Deleting photos by yourself. Buying iCloud storage. Throw away and buy a new phone. You can use this app. 1. Get rid of duplicate photos. 2. Clean cache junk. 3. Delete duplicate contacts.
Block Blast Puzzle Games. Play now.
Only 1% of the people can pass.
Check your heart rate in just 10 seconds. Real-time heart rate monitor. Try the app for free.
What will you choose? Use only your phone to measure your heart rate. Real-time heart rate monitor. Check your heart rate in just 10 seconds. Real-time heart rate monitor. Try the app for free.
Use only your phone to measure your heart rate. Real-time heart rate monitor. Try the app for free. Use only your phone to measure your heart rate. Real-time heart rate monitor. Try the app for free.
This is not a filter. This
No one knows where they came from. An ancient evil. Creatures whispered of
I can't sleep until I say the names.
It's as good a thing as any to keep a person going.
The Red Woman, Tywin Lannister, the Mountain, the Hound.
I'm Howie Mandel. Welcome to GSM's Deal or No Deal. The one. Number 13. You need to open 5 more cases before the next offer. Number 2. $1. $1 is off credit. $200 off the board. Deal or no? No deal. Big win.
Welcome back to the Grand Prairie Stadium. We're here in Texas, in Grand Prairie, just about, well, probably what, 20, 25 minutes outside of Dallas, the major metropolis that it is. And We're all set for the 5th one-day international of 6 in this triangular series. And the triangulars that make up ICC Men's Cricket World Cup League 2. Supported by Dream 11 as always. It's going to be 282. That Nepal will need. Anil Shah is on strike, facing up to Sarav Netravalkar, who's got the new ball in his hand. We see Asif Sheikh at the non-striker's end. And we see just almost a glint of sunshine after such a gloomy start to the day. A little bit nicer now, but the floodlights have understandably had to stay on. And it means that USA will hold the edge without doubt after posting what we feel is an above par total on the 3rd use of this pitch. And you can see why it's not going to be easy. That one rears up into the shoulder of Anil Shah. He has to give that a rub. Andrew Leonard here alongside Aman Patel. Promising signs already for USA. Where's this come from?
Yeah, it's come really out of nowhere. Swing and then a little bit of grip in the surface. It's jumping up, and Lenny, we talked about in the first innings that there's a little bit of deterioration on this wicket, and you're starting to see signs of it. Certain balls picking up, and you're going to see other ones maybe just start to stay a little bit lower, especially if Netravalkar takes pace off. I'm curious to see how quickly he elects to do that, just given the nature of the wicket.
Just the one catcher in place. That's Aaron Jones at first slip, who's got not his usual number on, does he? I think he often wears 85, but a bit like Shadli van Schalkwijk and even Sanjay Krishnamurthy, they all seem to be in jerseys without kind of almost unpre-planned ones, not with a name on the back. So Jones and Krishnamurthy are brought into this squad. And Van Schalkwijk, who I thought was initially in it, but seems to be in a different number. I'm sure they'll get that fixed up in time for January. But Netravalkar has started immaculately, and he started accurately, which is exactly what Nepal's bowlers didn't do in the first innings. For those just tuning in now, Aman, what did we see for the first 3.5, 4 hours?
It really should have been a story of Nepal getting well ahead of the game with the swing, but an early injury to Karan KC took that away from them, and then just a lack of discipline from the bowlers allowed Monik Patel, Satyajit Mukkamala to each pick up 50 runs, and a late surge from Harmeet Singh. You just say that Nepal let the USA off the hook with the way they bowled, just allowed them to really ease in, gave them freebies quite often, and what really should have been kept down to probably under 250 ends up being 281. I think the big things here for the USA, yes, it is going to be about Sarav Netravalkar, the control he can display, but for me, I'm looking at Shadli van Schalkwijk and I'm looking at Jesse Singh. Jesse Singh's coming off a game where, well, he gave up over 80 runs, and he was pretty similar to what we saw for Nepal, short, wide, always with, always pace on. He struggled. Can they be as consistent and as on point as Netravalkar is early in the innings?
Really good start from Netravalkar. Right on the money. Gets us to the end of the first over. Just one run from it. It's 1 for none. For Nepal, the challenge is going to be twofold here, isn't it? They'll almost certainly face 20 overs of spin. They may face more than that if Aaron Jones has a bowler. Sanjay Krishnamurthy is needed. So the challenge is twofold. It's kind of get through the new balls that are in operation, the 2 new balls. Netravalkar's overs in particular, you'd imagine. But then also, they can't allow that required run rate to get out of hand and allow those 2 very fine left-arm spinners to dictate the game. And Nepal have had some troubles against spin, and this will be the 6th innings on this particular surface, so you'd expect it to turn. So it's almost a do you stick or do you twist? You probably need to score runs in this first 10, but you're probably not going to get too many freebies from Netravalkar. Now, Jesse Singh, after a chastening day the other day, he's going to take the new ball. Also, interestingly, he's had a change of ends. I think he bowled all 10 from the other end 2 days ago. No gully in place. It might have been interesting if there was. He's a pretty resilient character. Jesse Singh. He's the kind of character you'd expect to bounce back.
Yeah, he's a fighter. He's going to want to bounce back and put his impetus on the game. And again, a lot of the two left arm spinners are going to come in with the deterioration of this wicket. Saurabh's going to be Saurabh Netravalkar. He's going to be so consistent. He's the real X factor. He's the wild card and will really sway the game.
Nicely worked away. Now, I know this is a cast iron too, but this is something you should keep your eye on in this chase. Watch how Nepal run between the wickets and watch how they apply some pressure to USA's fielders.
Yeah, it's going to be very key for them, the running between the wickets, just because, again, you don't reckon that it's as easy to bat on this surface and hit through the line, especially, again, when the spinners come on, there's going to be probably a little bit more spin than we've seen. If the cutters come out, the running between the wickets is usually so good, but ever so more important with the runs on the board.
Yeah, misfield. What's right on cue? Pressure applied on the fielder, and it's going to cost 4. No more than a push. If you're wondering whether or not there's still runs in this surface, there certainly is. Jesse Singh, not pleased with that effort. Might be the youngster as well, Shrivastava, who's completely misjudged it, and it runs away for 4. Brings the 12th player into play in a big way. Nepal's fans will outnumber USA's here today by a distance.
Yeah, again, just looked like Shrivastava just ran completely around it, maybe expecting it to continue to spin backward a point. But again, those little things are going to add up here for the USA, and kind of uncharacteristic for Shrivastava. He was so good in his debut.
Bowls it. Straight through, bowls him. And Singh strikes back, and he gives it the big celebration. That's the movement that we expected throughout the day, with the kind of grey, overcast conditions that we have. And Singh, well, he might have just conceded a boundary that should have been a dot, but he strikes back from the very next ball. Asif Sheikh is gone early.
Well, you saw the big fist bump and the look back towards the fans. Why was that? Well, when he came into bowl, the Nepali faithful were giving him the business, chanting, "Jesse, Jesse," and so he says, well, there you go. You wanted me on, and I've delivered wicket number 1. It's a really good delivery. It's what he didn't do 2 days ago. He's pitched it on a good length, right outside the off stump, angled in, and it's just beaten Asif Sheikh through bat and pad, picks up that first wicket, an important first wicket for USA. We've talked about it. He's the X factor in today's game. You know what you're going to get out of Harmeet Singh. You know what you're going to get from Nashkan Jagay. Saurabh's going to be good. Can Jesse Singh consistently do this right outside the off stump and swing it in?
It's just that trademark Jesse Singh angle, isn't it? And look, he's given it the shh to the Nepal fans and points at them, gives it the big celebration, maybe playing the Ali Khan role a touch with that pantomime villain. And it's going to bring Kushal Bertel to the crease early. Back at number 3. The Kushal Malla experiment has ended after just the 1 game. Makes a bit more sense to get Bertel in. Well bowled. You are going to get good reward with the new ball. That's a solid leave outside the off stump. Jesse Singh, all of a sudden, he's got his tail up, doesn't he?
You can see him just
phone hacks they don't want you to know about. Part 3. If you're seeing this message pop up on your phone, do not buy more storage. Instead, download Darksea. This app scans your phone and deletes a duplicate photos and videos to clear up space. You'll be shocked to see how much faster your phone runs, and you won't have to pay for that extra cloud storage anymore.
Bowler for any circumstance because of just the control.
Can be really difficult for Nepal here. You sense someone you would imagine is going to have to play out of their skin, aren't they? To chase this total down. What they will have in their benefit is a surface that's renowned for high scores. Problem is that surface is wearing. And it's getting
Rhea Shrestha.
probably more and more difficult to bat upon as the day will go on. So who's it going to be, Aman, for Nepal that's going to stand up and get... Like, if they chase this total down, it'd be unlikely you'll see 3 or 4 or 5 50s. You're probably going to need to see one big inning. Someone's got to get 100 plus.
And I reckon Kushal Patel has that in him. I think he's going to have the ability because of just how good he was in the T20s. He's figured it out a little bit. Batting at number 3, he looked very good against Scotland the other day. I think he's someone who can just stick in, bat time. I think Kushal is a good shout, but I think Arif Sheikh is another man who in the middle can really provide you something. The Iceman's been so good in this series, in the ODI format, coming off a Player of the Match award performance as well. I reckon if you can just find one or two bats to support Arif Sheikh in the middle, whether that's Patel, Mala, or even if it's Rohit Paudel down the order, I think you're probably going to be all right if you're Nepal. Give yourself a chance to win this game.
I know we're still early in Cricket World Cup League 2. This is Nepal's 11th game. They'll play their 12th and final of this series on Monday against Scotland. As Netravalkar completes a maiden. Nepal being shown the skills that they should have been implementing with the new ball. End of the third, it is 8 for 1. But have a listen to this, Aman. The highest score for Nepal individually in this Cricket World Cup League 2, that belongs to Rohit Paudel, the captain, with 96. If you're wondering why Nepal are struggling to win games, that 96 was actually in a losing effort. The next highest score after that, Kushal Patel 66, then Paudel is a 60, Asif Sheikh has got 2 50s, as does Anil Shah. As Jesse Singh delivers a real beauty, that's right on the money. Arif Sheikh also got that 50 the other day to go alongside his brother. And Gulshan Jah got a rapid 50 off 35 balls up against Oman. But that makes it just 9 scores of 50 or more in the now 11 innings, including this one. And the highest score of those has been 96. The only other team yet to make 100 in this series of the 8 teams, well, actually there's 2. It's Oman and UAE. Vishnu Sukumaran made a 97. But if you're looking for a demonstration as to why they're struggling, you've got to capitalise in a way that Brandon McMullen did, in a way that Shaihan Jahangir has done, in a way that Saiteja Mukamala did down in Namibia. You get in, you've got to go big. And the surface here at Grand Prairie is good enough to do that.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is if one bats through and is able to just stick in and take the pressure, it just eases everything up for the rest of the order. And I think the USA is a big example of that. Think about Shaihan Jahangir's 100 against Nepal. What was Manik Patel able to do in that match? Just sit there. Wasn't a fluent 50, but he got to 50 and he played a lot of delivery. He spent time in the middle And since then, the 250s to follow were fluent, were shades of vintage Monang Patel. And today, Satyajit Mukamala took his time alongside Monang Patel, and Mukamala was a little bit out of the runs. Took his time, let Monang Patel take the bulk of the pressure. Once he started to get going, you could then see Mukamala find rhythm as well. That's what's been missing for Nepal. The big score not only helps that one individual, but the teammates around him.
The other thing Nepal have is that the 12th player in their favour probably got, what, 500 or 600 fans in all around the ground. The sports bar and grill is full to capacity over the far side there. It's the kind of day you'd probably rather be inside than outside. And the fans are still coming in, all dressed up in their Nepal shirts. So they've got to find a way, don't they, to ride on their 12th player, use them to kind of get in on top of USA a touch. Every run will be cheered in the chase. But I'm not sure as to whether or not they know what approach to take here. There is movement on offer, certainly. Netravalkar is very skillful in particular, and Singh's got the opening incision. How can you chase down this total if you don't get after the two left arm spinners? And if you don't get off to a good start, let's say Nepal are, even if they only lose one wicket, let's say they're 35 for 1 after 10. How do you then get to 280 odd with 20 overs of Harmeet Singh and Nosh Kenjage at you?
And that's where the consistency in bowling plays such a factor. I reckon they come into today thinking, all right, Jesse Singh's the man we're going to attack. Even with it being overcast, when he gets the ball, look to be positive against him. That's why you saw Asif Sheikh play that stroke. He didn't look to play defensively. He looked to lift it over the top of the offside. Instead, just got beaten through and through. And now Jesse Singh's bowling with real control, real consistency. And so now that game plan's just been reversed. They don't know who they're going to go after. And what I reckon is they're almost just hoping that it is Shaliv and Skulkvik that just starts to spray it around a little bit, or maybe they just fall apart. Nepal now have put themselves in a position where they're banking on someone of the USA side of things to just fall apart with the ball.
Four overs bowled, 11 for 1. Yeah, great to see the colour of the Nepal fans in. Always is. And, well, what have they got? Maybe a little bit of the, looks like a samosa there maybe, from the sports grill and bar. There's even a Nepal football jersey there, maybe in tribute to that amazing women's performance, getting all the way to the final of the SAFF.
These are my favourite fans of the bunch. You got the USA fan mixing himself in.
Statue of Liberty on that jersey there.
I'm telling you, it's a fashionable look, Lenny. I got to ask him where he got one.
Yeah, we've seen a few faces that there's some fans that are repeat visitors as well. We've seen a few of those faces before. Edged and doesn't carry. Jones is very deep there, isn't he, for Netravalkar's pace? That's not a defensive shot. He's pushed at this. This should have carried. He's far too deep.
It's a genuine edge, and it's not the first time we've seen a ball fall short. The first time came off the shoulder of an Osa. And you can see Jones there. He just took 2 steps forward. And I still reckon he's probably a touch too deep as well.
Something we've missed, Aman, sorry, unless you mentioned it right at the start. Monang Patel doesn't have the gloves on. Shaihan Jahangir has the gloves on, so it's been a change of keeper. Your slip position will always be set by the keeper. The keeper's the one responsible for it. They're almost level here. I think they're both too deep. Netravalkar's not express pace. That should have been the second wicket. Instead, Anil Shah gets a real moment of fortune. Look at how deep he is here.
He's at least 2 or 3 strides behind the wicketkeeper. And it's, again, you're absolutely right. He's poked at it, and it's not even come close to getting to Jones. It's taken a bounce very far in front of him.
But for me, Okay, you can blame Jones, yes,
Yeah.
but that's actually, that lays with Jahangir. Jahangir had to be, he's still too deep. He looks like he's facing a bowler bowling 135 kilometers an hour here. And as a consequence, the slip and the gully are too deep. Now, big shout out to this man. You might notice that he's got the AirPods in and he's got the phone in front of him. You see there at the front, just on top of the edge. He's just realised, yes, that's right, sir. Dharam Shetty, we're talking to you right now. He sent me a message on Instagram. He says, at Cricket Badge,
Phone hacks they don't want you to know about. Part 3. If you're seeing this message pop up on your phone, do not buy more storage. Instead, download Darksea. This app scans your phone and deletes a duplicate photos and videos to clear up space. You'll be shocked to see how much faster your phone runs, and you won't have to pay for that extra cloud storage anymore.
You're getting me
What's
here.
the highest mountain in USA?
I'm not even sure. I feel like
You
it's got to
actually
be
don't
one-
know.
I don't know. I feel like it's got to be one in Washington. The name of it is escaping me.
I am shocked.
But
yeah, Jesse Singh not in full comfort there. Maybe his side. You don't know.
I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
I even know this.
What is
It's
it?
Mount McKinley in
It's
Alaska.
Mount
I'm pretty
you know-
sure. Sorry, I haven't looked yet.
Let's see.
I think almost all the high peaks, the kind of the 3,000 plus peaks, are in. I was going to ask you the highest in Texas as well, because I don't think there's many mountains down here. But let me just check. It is Mount McKinley, also known as Denali. Its local name. But yeah, everything in the top 10, all in Alaska. And they're all part of either the Alaska Range or the St. Elias Mountains. They're tiny. Well, actually, in fairness to Mount McKinley, 6,190 meters. That's pretty good going.
Pretty good. It's not in Nepal. We're not in the Himalayas. A Saturday walk, if you will.
A dada, if you will. Nicely straight driven. Yasser Mohammed on as a subfielder. does the fielding at mid-off. Yeah, there's nothing in the lower 48, if you will, the kind of somewhere that's not Alaska that is higher than 4,422 meters. Mount Whitney in the Sierra Nevada range in California is the main one down there. And then everything else is kind of Colorado. There is one big one in Washington, you're right. That's Mount Rainier.
Rainier, that's what it was.
Is that the one you were thinking
yes,
of?
Yes, it was, yeah. It was. I always remember it because it's symbolic of being in Seattle. It's rainy over there. So that's why it comes to mind.
It's number 17 on
I know,
this.
it's not great. It's a poor showing for me.
I'm so glad you didn't get onto Google before I asked you. So we can point that out. Every run, even leg buys, whatever they get Nepal, their fans are cheering them to the hilt. Incredible support here. Is there even a mountain in Texas? I don't even know.
I don't reckon there is.
Highest peak in Texas. Let's have a look. Well, it's known as hill country. There is a... It's really not a mountain, is it?
No. It's talking 924 meters is what the highest.
It's not even called the highest natural point in Texas is Guadalupe Peak.
Yeah. It's not even called. They got Bush Mountain after that. It's only 290 meters. Mountain?
Oh dear. Well, Texas, big sky country. That's why. 6 overs bowled. Good stuff from Jesse Singh. Let's hope he's all right. Doesn't look 100% fit. He might go off for a bit of treatment. 6 have been bowled, 14 for 1. Let's get a look at the points table, Aman, and just give people an idea of where this game is at right now, where this series is at. USA heavy favourites in this contest right now. Still time for it to change. If they win, they'll go top of the table. With everything that's gone on in the last 2 weeks, although it's been an exceptional year for American cricket, be pretty satisfied with that, wouldn't they?
Yeah, and I think it carries some momentum into 2025, into January, when you have that next stage of the Cricket World Cup League 2. And again, for the USA, coming off really a tour where head coach is gone, Monik Patel was out of form, Shaheen Jahangir wasn't in great form, to get these guys in the right places and for the team to kind of rally around the back half of this tour would be really important for them to build momentum into the next phase.
Fortune here for Kushal Bertel, because you can just sense, because of the lack of runs coming, there's a bit of frustration and there's eagerness to get on with it. 2 off 13, 4 off 19. Bertel tries to smash one into the leg side. So that brought about the errant shot. Lucky to survive.
Yeah, and again, it's just, I don't think he's picked the right bowler. I don't think Nethervolker is going to be a man that you're really going to be able to get after today. There's going to be swing involved, and then off the surface, he's going to be able to do a lot with the wicket just starting to deteriorate.
Quick single, dashed and successfully. Just down in front of our commentary position here, Aman, at sort of it's a wide fine leg. Jesse Singh, I think it's Alicia Green, the USA team physio on the left. And who's that on? Well, we can't tell with the hood on. Might be Milan. Is it Milan Kumar?
That is Milan Kumar.
Okay, so that might be our first clue. That would mean that it's Andreas House that's been ruled out with the squad and officially replaced by Aaron Jones.
Yeah, again, no official announcement, so it is speculation, but Milan Kumar being here almost answers the question for you. But Jesse Singh seems to be holding on to his side, his left side, so that wouldn't be the one his bowling arm. It's the opposite end, so it might just be on the pulled through, finishing the run-up. He might have just gone a little bit heavy on that left arm.
Nick Alicia Green just said to Jesse, they're watching us. You can't escape us, guys. We see every piece of the game that's going on. Yeah, a little bit of magic worked by a USA team physio. And hopefully Jesse Singh will be all right to continue. It's a nasty injury. If you've never done it, a side injury, it takes a long time to recuperate. Bertel getting himself in a tangle here. 3 off 16. Sa 5 off 20. This is exactly what we expected in the first innings. Probably the last time we're going to say it. We've said it enough. Nepal let themselves down with the ball in the first innings.
Again, look at what Saurabh Nethervolker is doing. There's no extravagant movement. The ball's not jumping up and staying down. He's been consistently on middle and off stump, on a length, and just trying to swing the ball just a touch here and there. This is what Good KC started with doing, and he was effective. And right now, the USA are showing Nepal what should have happened.
There might have just been a little bit of naivety as well in terms of maybe not having bowled in conditions that helpful. They're extraordinarily helpful for that long. There was, for the first 10 or 12 overs up in Canada in King City, or even 14 overs, there was a lot of help. But it was also a different kind of surface. If you bowled poorly on it, you weren't necessarily going to get punished in the way you would here, because of that up and down and lateral movement that there was. So that, allied with the absence of Karen KC due to that injury, has just kind of proved too much for Nepal to be able to show the wisdom to get past. And as a consequence, that's why USA have a total that we think is a long way above par. There is a way back into the game for Nepal. They're going to have to bat well, probably maybe see off one more over of Netravalkar, and then start to try and change gears. I'm not saying from the first gear that they're in now through to 5th or 6th gear, but just get into 2nd, get into 3rd, start finding 1s and 2s, and start putting some pressure back on America's bowlers.
And again, I think they haven't done quite well enough with putting the bad ones away or putting them into areas to get 1s and 2s. We talked about the USA with the bat early on, how this is probably how we thought they were going to go about their business. The reason Nepal can't do a similar strategy is just because the spinners are going to be so much more effective in the 2nd inning. So you have to find a way to at least tally up runs leading into the spinners, so you're not too far behind the required run rate to where now you're forced to take on Harmeet Singh or forced to take on Anash Kanjia.
I also just want to thank an American fan who's got in touch. We're talking about those highest peaks and explaining to me that Mount McKinley hasn't been called Mount McKinley since 2015. Fan messaged in from North Dakota of all places. Great to hear from you. Don't have a name on the account, so can't read it out. And it was renamed. I think this is very similar to what's happened down in Australia with what was Ayers Rock now becoming Uluru. Mount McKinley has become renamed Denali to restore the mountain's traditional name and to address concerns of Alaskan native tribes. The Kuyukon people, who lived in the area for centuries, have always called the mountain Denali, which you're going to love this. It means the high one or the great one.
How about that?
So it's a bit like the Lambu Dai, Matt Bonner, the tall elder brother. Love that. So yeah, apologies for that. No intent. As Bertel finally breaks the shackles. Now just listen. That's getting the crowd into the game. It's a good shot, and he hasn't tried to overhit. Just to punch off the back foot, finds the gap, gets for it.
And he's done well there because it's one of the first times we've seen real width from Jesse Singh. It's not that wide to where you're like, that's real poor delivery, but it's wide enough to where you can get on the back foot, free your arms to punch behind point for 4 runs. It's very well played. It's timed to perfection. And again, it's taking advantage So, 7 runs from it, 8 overs gone, 24 for 1. And Jesse Singh, that'll be a storyline we'll try to keep watch for and see how Monang Patel there on your screen reacts to.
End of the 8th over, 24 for 1 the score. And as we've moved into the second innings, we've also moved into a new day back in Nepal. It's after very nearly 2 a.m. local time across Kathmandu and Pokhara, Biratnagar, Bhairawa, Birgunj, all the way across the beautiful nation. And with it coming into now the 3rd of November, may I wish Nayu Daya Bintuna to everyone, which means best wishes for the new year in the Newari culture. It's known for the Newar people in Nepal as the New Year. They love a festival and a celebration in Nepal, and it's a day when the Newar people celebrate Mahapuja, where family members make puja for the safety of fellow. Good stroke, it's going to be 4. Daniel Sa having to find a way to get some rhythm. He charges at Netravalkar and hits him through that vacant extra cover area.
Yeah, well done. Good use of the feet from Anil Sa. You could see him in Netravalkar kind of battling out in the previous couple of overs. He was standing deep in the crease, trying to play late. This time he's used his feet. He's attacked Saurabh Netravalkar, and he's used that vacant cover region to find 4 runs. It's good intent early on, especially with Jahangir not up to the stumps. He's taken the slip out of place. He's brought sweeper cover in. And this is what a little bit of intent will show. That gully's been shifted around as well. And these are important counter punches for Nepal and Anil Sa.
Now a front foot pull shot. Both of these batters have decided the movement's gone from the ball. As Jesse Singh, we see him have to pick it up. He's off for some treatment. Yasser Mohammed on as a subfielder. This might be the last one of Netravalkar for the moment. Is Nepal just starting to get their fans into the contest?
Really good this. Again, use of the feet, down the ground, and then he's just looked to pick up the ball into a vacant mid-wicket region. That fielder was there. He's been that's Yasser Mohammed, who's since been moved around to backward square leg. Really a fine leg. That's where he'll remain. It's good recognition in the field, and it's good recognition again. With Jahangir back, you can always attack Netravalkar down the ground.
Pulls his length back cleverly. Netravalkar always does that well. Yeah, I was just explaining that it's the same. Aman, tell me if I'm right. In Hindu culture, then this is kind of a new year after Diwali itself.
Yeah, it is. The Diwali is almost like your New Year's Eve, their New Year's celebrations, and then you get into the new year. Sal Mubarak to you, Lenny. That's what we say down in my part of India, Gujarat. That's what they say, and they stretch it around North India.
Love to hear it in the American accent too.
It varies, right? A little bit back and forth.
How is your Hindi?
It's not bad.
Okay. You fluent?
Enough. Fluent to get vibe. Wouldn't say that I'm... You could tell that I definitely learned it here in the United States and learned it bits and pieces, but...
Pigeon Hindi.
There you go. It'll be enough to get by and enough to be able to make conversation and get me through situations.
It is amazing to think of... America's become such a popular place, isn't it, for Indian students and tech workers and people just making new lives. And so you'd love to know how many Hindi speakers there are in the United States. It'd probably be in the millions.
It'd be very close, again, because India's so big and there's so many different...
Oh, now that is the shot of the chase. That's going to be 6. Change in the game. It's changed in the 9th over. The chase is on all of a sudden. What a stroke all the way for a maximum.
Well, this is different, isn't it, from Anil Sa. Again, very defensive to Netravalkar early. And this time he stayed in his crease, touch fuller. But that's just a shot of pure class. He's noticed the swing is cut off. It's gone. So he's just able to play through the line with his hands. He's timed that to perfection. What an over that is. You don't get too many runs off Nethervalker's overs. He has an economy range at 6 in ODI cricket. I think lower than that, actually. And now it's been jumped all the way up to 15 in that 5th over. Brilliant stuff.
Now, with the change of bowler, the keeper is going to come up to the stumps. Obviously, this is an enforced change. Jesse Singh is off the field. There's shades of what happened to Karen KC there, isn't there? In terms of having to go off early in the innings and maybe not being able to come back. Side injuries are tricky. It'll be Shadley van Schalkwijk to become the first change in bowling. He'll bowl the 10th and final of the first power play. Be a wide down the leg side. Good glove work from Jahangir. Tell me about this position Aaron Jones is in here. Man, it's not a gully. It's not a first slip. It's kind of a third, if not fourth slip. Is he saving a single there? Is he trying to take a catch?
Well, I think because of the intent you're seeing from Sai and Bartel, it's just for that big flash outside the off stump. It's almost that fly slip position where if the ball does go quickly out to his right, they're just hoping he can be able to get out there and dive that for that delivery there. I think they reckon if it does get a touch fuller and Bartel looks to play an expansive cover drive and edges it, in that position, they reckon Aaron Jones has the best opportunity to make a play on the ball.
Good running, gets a single. The majority of this contest between these two today, Aman, may be decided upon the 20 overs of left arm spin and how Nepal play that. Harmeet Singh probably hasn't had the wickets he would have liked, but he's full of confidence with the runs that he's getting. Kenjige has been in the wickets, but maybe he hasn't bowled as well. As he would have liked. And Nepal, bizarrely for me, given how much left arm spin they face back home, and the fact that every second cricketer out of the production line seems to be as part of an army of Nepali left arm spinners, they haven't played left arm spin particularly well. That's just missed. Only really misses the off stump on height. So much of this contest could come down to those 20 overs that'll predominantly be in the second power play.
Yeah, and again, a lot of it will depend on how these overs go, as that one just missed the top of off stump. They're looking to be aggressive against the seamers, knowing that they have to face those left arm spinners. And Harmeet Singh went wicketless 48 hours ago, but he was bowling for maybe the wrong end of the ground, didn't get the drift that Nash Kenjige was due to the wind. And you couple that with he was just looking to fire it in quick and be economical to look to get Kenjige wickets at the other end. They bowl well in tandem, even though they're two of the same types of spinners in terms of left arm spin ball moving away from the right-hander. But they're hard to take on, especially if their required run rate continues to move up. Now, right now, Nepal's getting it to drag back down. It's under 6 at the moment, which is where Nepal would like to keep it. But if you just start to pile on some dot balls and some quiet overs, it would be tough sledding against the left arm spinners.
Somehow evades the stumps again. Okay, gets us to the end of the first power play. 42 for 1 the score. Well, what about a bit of the colour and passion on offer here in Grand Prairie? There is a Nepal football jersey in the front right there. Lots of smiling faces on show. There's lots of the cricket jerseys, various iterations of that. There's a joy and an exuberance and a love for the game here in Texas, and much of it is coming from the fans of the men in the red and blue of Nepal.
And again, their fans have loved it. They've loved it since they've got here for that Stake Stars and Summits trophy all the way in October. Hard to believe that we're already in a new month, and he's been here for quite some time, but again, the fans have loved it, and now headed into League Two. They've come out and cheered on their side, and while we're mixed results for them, probably should have come away with more wins than they have.
As this one steered into the gap, the sweeper Christian Murthy's out there. Here he is. Now what's happened, Nosh Kenjigate? It's an easy underarm from Utkarsh. Oh dear! There he goes. It's almost as though a bomb went off. Always tie your shoelaces at home.
Looks like he caught on to the back foot as well. He wasn't watching where he was going. So if you're out trick-or-treating, make sure that you're doing that. And watching every step you take and which direction you take it in. But you're absolutely right, Lenny. Nepal will be very watchful of how this passage of play goes. They know if they don't give up wickets to both left arm spinners, and they can claw runs to their name, about 5 and over. They've done more than enough. That's easier said than done. Kenjigate will attack the pads all day long. Close out over and over.
A replay to show you there was definitely an inside edge, thuds into the front pad. Not sure what Nosh Kenjigate's looking at there. First over in the books from him, 3 from it. Yeah, if Nepal look at this attack, they're going to look at the comeback overs of Netravalkar in his second spell, the 10 across the board of Vanskalkvik, and then whatever remaining 6 of the 5th bowler, which could be Jesse Singh, but if he doesn't recover from that side strain, well, where the other over is going to come from, they're going to be the ones that they'll target to get them more than a run of ball that they need, which the required run rate's now tipped over. And then if they can, even if they kept Harmeet Singh and Nosh Kenjigate to their figures from the last game, which I think was what, none for 49 and 1 for 49, basically 4 or 5 and over. If it's that, but they don't get the incisions, if Harmeet Singh doesn't get into the wickets and get into Nepal's middle order, then I think there could be a way home for Nepal. USA still favourites for me. No doubt. Runs on the board, wearing wicket. Nepal don't have a great history of chasing huge totals. But there is just, particularly with the extra depth to Nepal's batting, remember Mala's in the team. So they have the 2 left-handers, Gulshan Jah and Kushal Malla, both of whom can score quickly, and both of whom could be sent in to take on the left-arm spin. Maybe they can plot a path home for what would be a very famous victory.
Again, it's just about how they decide to attack the rest of the bowling lineup, where they look to find runs. And they got to do this, take advantage of poor deliveries and find a way to get those to the rope. Even the fumble will just keep it to 1 run. But if you get anything loose, you have to be able to take advantage of it. And I think that's what USA, to their credit, did very, very well. Yes, it wasn't the greatest bit of bowling from Nepal all throughout their innings, but anytime it was loose down the leg side, found 4 runs. When Lamashani dropped it short, apart from the one Aaron Jones wicket, everything went to the rope. They took advantage of the lackluster bowling. Nepal's got to do something similar and make USA pay for mistakes. Good delivery that from Van Skolkvik. And you mentioned Nether Volker's second spell. When he comes back into bowl, you reckon it's going to be all pace off. It's going to be cross seam and cutters and slower deliveries that were very hard to play later on. So even with the big hitting Goshamala and Gulshan, you don't reckon it's going to be a wicket where you can really score as fluently and as easy as you want towards the later stage with the slower balls. So it makes it even more important to score runs in this juncture.
Good diving stop. Aaron Jones is a good fielder. There's a key position there at extra cover. That's probably 4 runs saved.
Yeah, again, very similar to what we saw saved from Deepinder Singh Airi in the first innings. There's a sweep recover, but would have had to move a long way to his right, and they've since moved Aaron Jones from Van Skolkvik's first over out of that fly slip position into a cover. So almost daring Anosah to try to play to third man with the ball being angled in. It's good attacking cricket.
End of the 12th over, 48 for 1. Mate, my wide button has stopped working.
Can you not hear him?
Worked into the leg side, and that's going to be... Oh, it might be 4. Well, that's what the fans are indicating. And now Harmeet Singh is as well. He's trod on the rope. And that's really a free 2 runs for Nepal to bring the 50 up for Nepal.
We've talked about the running between the wickets, ever so important for Nepal, and this is another phase in the game where Nepal bests USA in the field. Nepal saves runs. USA, they can tend to shoot themselves in the foot. Not the first time we've seen 4 free runs. Think about before the wicket of Asif Sheikh, those 4 runs off a misfield, and then Harmeet Singh here just stepping onto the rope.
Power sweep from Bertel. Power sweep for 4. That's a really good shot. Kenjige's just looked a little lacking in bite through the air, isn't he? No rhythm yet for him. And one of Bertel's favourite shots against the spinners runs away for 4.
Well, there's no real wind to aid with the drift and the dip. You can just see Bertel in this over alongside Anosah looking to be way more positive against Kenjige, and it's a good counterpunch. Yes, it's risky, but they've said to Nash, all right, we're looking to attack you. We're not going to let you sit there and bowl your 10 overs alongside Harmeet Singh. You're going to have to do something extra special to get us out. Close of the 13th over. 2 boundaries come from it. 9 runs from Kenjige. Second is 57 for 1.
Anil Shah, sometimes when he's batting, just kind of gets in this mode, doesn't he? Either it's a defensive or a block, or it's a very big shot, isn't it? He kind of needs to find a middle gear between the two.
Yeah, I think there's room to be aggressive, but you also have to understand that not every ball you can put away to the boundary. It's actually what ended up being his undoing against the USA that first time. He got to his 50, really untroubled, and then just tried to hit every ball for 6. Came out against Scotland in a similar facet. He can just do this. He's such a good timer of the ball. He's got a wide range of shots. If he's just able to find a way to get one off every delivery, he'll get enough bad balls that he can put away. He's got too many good shots to where he's almost forcing, trying to hit the ball into particular areas when the ball's not there to be hit.
First chance of Nepal from the crowd. Must be funny for the America players to be here on home soil. Very much to feel like an away game for them. Outnumbered heavily by the Nepal fans. Probably, I don't know, what have we got, 800 in and around the ground? 7. But I can promise you, as we get to the end of the 14th with the score at 65-1, that everyone here, I'm talking serious cricket experts, Dean Cosker, I'm not saying he said anything to me, but I can assure you, the ICC match ref was going, God, this is going to be a tough morning for batting. Russell Warren played all that county cricket for Northants. He will have known that on days like this back home in the county championship, well, if you get 200 with the bat, you're having an excellent day. I don't think anyone would have thought that it would have been 280 versus 200 plus, let alone 280 possibly being chased down. But the batters are just coming into their own, Anil Shah and Kushal Bertel. This partnership is now worth 57 from 74 deliveries, and it's going to force a change in bowling with Harmeet Singh coming into the attack.
And Manik Patel seems to be steadfast on the fact that both left-arm spinners are going to operate from the race course end, which is the opposite end to where Kenjige was so successful against Scotland 48 hours ago. Yes, not the same breeze blowing, very little breeze, if any, that you can see from the naked eye, but I'm just intrigued as to why Harmeet Singh and Nash Kenjige have both been deemed to bowl from this end. That's personal preference or a thing for Manik Patel.
Don't know if this is intentional, but Harmeet Singh has made Kushal Bertel wait a long time to face this first delivery. Used to always love watching Shane Warne do that. And good news for American fans, because Jesse Singh has just this very ball sprinted on and clapped hands, tag teamed in and out with Yasser Mohammed, who's gone back off. maybe an indication he'll be okay to bowl his remaining 6. Remember, he was pretty economical in his first 4 against Scotland a couple of days ago, and then the last 6, well, they travelled the distance. Good diving effort. And it's this captain himself who's got to get his body on the line. That's 4 runs saved again.
This is what we were talking about with Moning Patel. When Andres Kels was here, and even with Shane Jangir, with the amount of keepers in the team, Moning Patel's so good in the outfield. You reckon he gives you your best bet in the field. Yet again, phenomenal stop. It's hit straight to him, but he's very steadfast right there. Able to keep it down. Really good work out there. On that look at Jesse Singh, though, the one thing you're concerned is that he still doesn't look 100% with this side. He's still messing with himself. Trying to find any bit of comfort with the way he's just swaying side to side. Hands were lifted into the air. Just something to watch if he comes back in. But again, Moning Patel, so quick in the field. Those are back-to-back deliveries that he's taken.
Thanks. Just missed that delivery there. Moning Patel does the fielding again. At mid-wicket, and it's just a single from Harmeet Singh's first. You would imagine he'll probably bowl 10 pretty tight overs yet again. Can he find the wicket? So that will be the key. 15 bowled, 66 for 1. Kenjige as a change of ends. We saw this in the latter stages against Scotland, but that was when we had a heavy wind blowing. It was almost like the penny finally dropped that they needed to get the left arm spin to get the ball to drift into them. Did see one monstrous 6 as well, wasn't it? I think it might have been hit off Kenjige by Brandon McMullen. But there it is, bit of drift in and some turn away.
Wind still prevailing from the northwest. That wind that Dave Agnew, the head curator, would say is almost a Canadian, Minnesotan wind that would fly down. That's where the cooler temperatures come from. So you are seeing that bit of drift into the right-hander.
Now, that there, if you're wondering what that is, and you're wondering why Aman Patel said the racecourse end in the previous moment, part of a great sporting complex here, that's Lone Star Park. Swept away for 4. Great shot because he's got it a long way behind square. Only one man out in the deep square of the wicket on the leg side, and he's right on square. Sash shuffles outside his off stump and gets it well behind square. Good stroke. 0 risk for 4.
This is impressive intent against the left arm spin, particularly Kenjige, that they're trying to take on. You can see them looking for scoring options. They're not going to let Kenjige just go about drifting the ball in and just playing with a straight bat. They're manufacturing their scoring options and doing it without giving up much risk.
Now a fish outside the off stump. No slip in place, interestingly, despite there being some turn on offer. I think Nepal might have taken this position when they came out to chase. Vanchkalkvake looks pretty unthreatening. Netravalka bowled really nicely for those first 4 overs, got taken apart a bit in the 5th. Jesse Singh, he's picked up the 1 wicket to fall, but we're not sure whether he's going to be able to return. So these 2 left arm spinners, they hold the absolute key for USA to defend this total. As this gets us to the end of the 16th over. Again, USA's over rate, really good. One thing they've got right all through 8, both series. 16 bowled, 71 for 1. Come on then, Aman. Time to nail your colours to the mast. 2's ahead. Who's going to win this game?
Oh, this will be putting me on the spot here, Lane. I'm not. It could go either way. This game is perfectly poised up. You spoke about Nepal taking where they would be here in the 16th over. USA were 78 for 2 at this stage in their innings, so it's really dead even. You take the 1 wicket in hand. You don't have 6 runs on the board, but I think the real keys are how positively they're playing Nash Kenjige would give Nepal good confidence headed in. They took Netravolkar on. They were able to find runs against him. Jesse Singh, you don't know if he's going to be 100% remaining through, so who else can bowl? You're scoring against Nash Kenjige. If Harmeet Singh doesn't go with wickets, you really fancy your chance to chase this total down.
It's kind of funny. 10 overs ago, I'd have said that, well, Nepal are huge underdogs, but just a bit of a growing sense, as you'll always get when the partnership builds, a growing sense of belief in the chase, isn't there, for Nepal? You just sense Harmeet Singh is going to have a big say, don't you? He's that good, you almost think if Nepal play his 10 overs none for 30, that might not be a bad result. So there's no need to kind of worry about your scoring rate off him. And I say that because even though it's more than a runnable required, there should be, in theory, plenty of scoring opportunities off the other bowlers, particularly as the innings progresses. Get through Harmeet Singh, I think Nepal might win this game.
Especially with the way they're scoring off Nash Kenjige. If they were playing both Kenjige and Harmeet Singh this way, well, that's 20 overs where you're really only scoring 60 runs. But because they've taken the attack to Nash, you really fancy your chances here. With Venchkovik not looking as dangerous early, I think he'll get better as the game goes on with the slower ones. With Jesse Singh's health as a concern, you really fancy your chances.
Well, now. It was Owen Morgan that first kind of played the reverse. This is a left-handed late cut. He's looked to reverse sweep it. He's realised he's not in position. And look at the skills for him to be able to play it like a left-hander. What a unique shot. Oh, very clever.
It's hard to describe that, but I'm not sure again. Well, it looks good. It makes for good TV. I don't reckon you need that shot against Harmeet Singh. I think that's forcing the issue. You've only scored 2 runs. That's fine. Just push around. Just play conventional.
Nicely swept, but Manik Patel does well again. He's a good outfielder, isn't he, for a man who usually has the gloves on. Okay, 17 overs bowled. End of the first session. The game, well, one more look at this. Owen Morgan, eat your heart out. The game, it hangs beautifully in the balance. I'm going to leave you with one piece of news. Again, I'm not suggesting Time for the second session of the chase here, and you're very welcome back to the coverage. You're watching us live from Texas. We're at the Grand Prairie Stadium. Nepal need 282 to win. Got a good partnership that's building up nicely between Kushal Bertel and Anil Sah. And you've got the company of me, Andrew Leonard, who has Aman Patel alongside him in the commentary box, as I have throughout the series. Been great to have you with me, Aman. Really enjoyed it. Good afternoon to you firstly. Good afternoon to everyone watching, or good evening, or even good morning back in Nepal. We got another thriller in our hands. The last USA-Nepal game went all the way down to the penultimate ball. Shadli Vanchkalkovich hit a 6 to win it. Is this destined to be another classic between these two sides? It almost always seemed to be hard to separate.
Yeah, good afternoon to you as well, Lenny. And yeah, it seems to be destined to be that way, especially with the fans starting to trickle in, and they're getting worth the price of admission. That's to say the least. And again, the way these two teams have gone at it, they're evenly poised at this stage, which we didn't reckon would have been the case headed into that first drinks, but Nepal has fought really well, especially with that early barrage from the USA. And taking notes from Scotland, weather the storm and your time will come.
Yeah, and also, I don't think USA's fielding's let them down yet. Actually, it's been good. It's held up, with one exception, Shrivastava in the second over. But they do just have this habit, don't they, of going a little quiet in the field. And that can make it feel like, particularly when the Nepal fans are in on top of you, that they're even further in front. Stay on. And Shadli Vanchkalkovich just down below us. He's having a lot of fun with these fans, isn't he? Different kind of relationship to the one that Jesse Singh was having with them. A charismatic guy, and I think he loves playing in front of fans. We've seen him be really good since he's come over to America.
Yeah, incredibly personable. He wants to interact with every single person around him. He's always got something kind to say. His 18th over comes to a close, 78 for 1. And he makes that genuine effort, and that's very refreshing, and it's also just a part of what makes Vanchkalkovich kind of a key figure in the States. He plays a lot of his cricket in Seattle, in the Seattle area, and he's a lot of his bowling likes up there. You see it with the ball in hand. It's been a story of Harmeet Singh's been effective and economical, and you have the 1 wicket from Jesse Singh, but you just feel that Nepal have gotten used to every bowler and been able to take them on.
They also, just see in that graphic, Madank Patel just continues to only want to use 5 bowlers. Seen a change in the field. Look, Shrivastava taken out of long on and put into cover where he was so good in his first ODI. Part of the reason for that is Harmeet Singh wanted the taller man, Vanchkalkovich, at long on. All these little small, less than 1%ers can matter. Aaron Jones's position is an interesting one, isn't it? He's in at first slip, but it's very deep. And it's quite wide. Is the ball going to carry there?
I don't reckon it is. Harmeet Singh's not flying it through. It's not pace on. Yeah, they're playing with heavy hands, trying to push the ball, but I reckon he can afford to take 1 step forward. I like the width in which he's at, but this is just a touch too deep.
And Harmeet Singh strikes. Bertel loves that sweep shot. But if he misses on that line, the bowler is going to hit. And it's the off-stump rock back. We said Nepal needed to keep Harmeet Singh out of the wickets. They haven't been able to do that. As Bertel falls for 29. It's a risky stroke, isn't it? And Harmeet Singh right on the money.
Remarkably, only his 8th ODI wicket. And this is 10th inning, but you just take a look at the shot selection here. It's just a poor shot, you reckon. You don't need to try to force the sweep, force the scoring option to Harmeet Singh. We spoke about it. You have the time. Take him and just play him out. Score off everyone else. Kushal Bertel gets a start, 29 off of 51, but won't be able to cash in. That's the biggest thing. You can't let Harmeet Singh get in. And once you've started to score, you have to be able to cash in on it.
Kushal Mala to the crease at number 4. Not the captain, Ro Powdle, yet. Big day for this young man, isn't it? He's got lots of little scores of late, but nothing too substantial outside of that one knock in the T20s. He's had very high career strike rates early in his career, and his game's just evolving a touch, you sense. Clearly a tactical choice here to get the left-hand, right-hand combination in, particularly with the left-arm spinners bowling.
Yeah, and you expect them to kind of bowl in tandem here with Nashkan Jagay at one end of the ground and Harmeet Singh from this end. So just to try to throw off line and length, and Kushal Mala can take the attack on. But again, like you said, the way he's added to the game, just to be able to stick in, hold himself together, and then push ones and twos, I think will be very important, especially to Harmeet Singh. I think that tactical plan has been to take on Kenjige, but Singh you don't want to give away.
Great over from Harmeet Singh, including the big wicket. 19 bowled, 79 for 2.
New man with the ball. Again, we saw him with the bat a lot yesterday, or 2 days ago, but it's Utkarsh Srivastava who's going to come in and bowl his off spinners, and that's part of the reason why he's in the side. He hasn't bowled in international cricket yet, but he bowled very consistently as a part of the USA Under-19 team. Took wickets in the Under-19 World Cup. And it's part of his game that he's continued to adapt and bring in. Be interesting starting off to the right-hander.
Yeah, just the second over we've seen from a sixth bowler or more on this entire homestand of 7 games that they've played. So it shows that Manak Patel probably has reviewed the match the other day and thought that 6 overs of 7 from one end for Jesse Singh was far too much, and really kind of was a bit of a hospital pass for him. So if he can get in even 3 or 4 cheap overs, let alone pick up a surprise wicket,
3 mistakes of using iPhone, I bet you don't know. Deleting photos by yourself. Buying iCloud storage. Throw away and buy a new phone. You can use this app. 1. Get rid of duplicate photos. 2. Clean cache junk. 3. Delete duplicate contacts.
Such a big deal. Because you know things are going to be tight and consistent. The runs are going to be hard to come by. And now you're trying to get Guatemala into the game, trying to let him feel himself out, whilst the scoreboard pressure is starting to mount. This is why Guatemala couldn't have afforded to play that sweep.
Stack up these dots. Well, we said Harmeet Singh would be a big factor. He's bowled 4 overs here. The best part of. He's got 1 for 4. It's a maiden. Nepal going nowhere. USA getting on top in this second session. 82 for 2.
Pressure mounting now on Nepal, and yes, still over half the innings to go, but the required run rate starting to head well towards 7 and beyond. And now it almost makes this over if Srivastava one you have to score off of, or at least find a boundary or 2 just to ease some of that pressure. I get the single straight away, and again, the big thing is you just got to find a way to continue to rotate. And if you're not going to score off Harmeet Singh, which is fine, you're not going to be really able to. Don't give him the wickets, but be able to find runs elsewhere. You can't let Srivastava go out and bowl an over worth 30 runs. It's not a winning formula. You got to be able to consistently do this, turn runs off every delivery and slip in. Now it has to be the odd boundary pretty consistently. Srivastava like the matchup of the left-hander. And for Guatemala, he's just got to stay patient. Again, that hard-hitting background can't affect him right now. It's well bowled from Srivastava. He's got a couple of different deliveries. He's got a couple that'll come back in, the arm ball. And he'll like the matchup again with the left-hander. Getting the ball to turn away, but then the odd one to slip back through. Good sharp stuff. Again, he's not trying to reinvent the wheel. I think that's the biggest thing from Srivastava. He's just gone right outside the off stump and bowled every delivery there and dared Mala to go different.
How many times do we say in the first innings, do the basics right? Just a day that it really, in the most helpful of conditions, it completely eluded Nepal's bowlers. With the occasional exception, but probably 40 of the 50 overs delivered, they just didn't do even a semblance of the basics right. And that's why they're behind the 8 ball now. 7 runs required per over. Bit of innovation. There's 2 men there on the reverse sweep, so I'm not sure that a conventional sweep wouldn't have been a better option, hitting with the spin. 22 bowled, 85 for 2. Nepal in trouble.
Really take on Harmeet Singh because he was looking very set.
And they have to do something better here, don't they, Nepal, just to find a way into this contest. I don't mind Mala starting slowly because he's got such power. And I can tell you for a fact, I'm not in the team hotel on this trip, but in the last trip in Canada I was getting down to lift my poultry 5-kilogram weights and do a little run on the treadmill. Mala was pounding out big numbers. He himself and Karen Casey, without look at the size of Kushal Mala, monster. And they're the two in the team that are probably stronger than anyone, and it's no surprise alongside Dipender Singh Hari, as Russell Warren shows why he used to be a keeper at Northants. Good hands, as they're the biggest 6-hitters. So I don't mind him, even if he just, let's say, gets to 10 off 20 or 10 off 25. He catches up so quickly. But it's about himself given a chance to do what he's been sent in to do, which is to take down the left-arm spinners. Now, long on is in place, but there's nobody in between long on and deep mid-wicket in the outside the circle. So there's a mid-wicket in the circle, but he's about 15 yards from the bat. So you'd imagine that hitting with the spin, kind of either there or straight down the ground, where there's probably, 40 yards between long off and long on, but it might be 60 yards between mid-wicket and long on. But that's got to be one of the real boundary options for Mala. And you'll have to take some risk. It's just a case of when you start to take that risk. I'm not suggesting now, maybe bat for 3 or 4 or 5 more overs, but then 1 boundary, 2 boundaries, 3 boundaries starts to change the game. So it's about building that innings, a little bit like we said, Sandeep Lamachani earning his way into his spell. Kushal Mala's got to earn his way into his innings by getting the pace of the wicket. Isn't a huge amount of turn. It's not sharp turn anyway, just a bit there for the spinners. Just got to pick the right length and go after, might be Kenjige as opposed to Harmeet Singh when Kenjige comes back in. 23 bowled, another tight over from Harmeet Singh. 89 for 2. Man, there is a bit of talk that we might have some rain on Monday, just in case we do, and this is the last time we're with you. How do you assess the kind of first, I think after this Netherlands series, we're going to have close to a third of the games played for all of the teams. How do you assess the kind of the first year of the second edition of ICC Men's Cricket World Cup League 2?
Well, Canada got off to the best start of any team. They used their early advantage to their credit. USA probably had the best overall year, just all formats, and they were able to take advantage of that momentum headed into the ODIs. I think for Nepal, for them to really get back into that top 4 conversation, they're going to have to put on some wins. Again, this win today against the USA, if we play Monday against Scotland, and then really ramp them up, because they're struggling in that bottom 3, and Oman are starting to pile on some wins. The UAE still struggling there. That's the one godsend, but bigger than maybe even if you don't make the top 4, you keep yourself out of the top 2, and Nepal are too good of a side to lose the ODI status if they just keep down this trend. Long way to go. Not saying that they will. I think similar to Scotland, they're starting to find a little bit more of their momentum headed into that top 4. So I think the middle is very jam-packed. I think the top 4 will end up being jam-packed. I think you'll have 1 probably all by themselves, and then 2, 3, 4 will be between probably 5 of the teams on the list fighting for those 3 spots, and we'll see which 3 teams those are.
Yeah, I think for UAE as well, they've got to kind of pretty quickly find a way to not become the Papua New Guinea of this second cycle. They've had a change of captain. Rahul Chopra's been given the armband. I think many expected that. I was reading Paul Radley's piece, that the fine writer that he is for the national newspaper in the UAE, about their upcoming tour, and wondering where is it going wrong for UAE's 50-over cricket. There's so much going for them in the shorter formats. And they're 16th in the world in the T20I standings. But actually, if you look at the ODI rankings, they're 20th and bottom. And they're probably deservedly so 20th and bottom. And one of the points that he was making in that article is that the domestic cricketers in the UAE, they actually play more 10-over cricket than they do 40 or 50-over cricket. There's so many short formats. Just one more look at the points table here. So they've got to find a way to not be cut a gulf at the bottom. But equally, Nepal have to find a way to not be stuck in the bottom two with them. So that's why these two games, I know we're over 2 years out from the end of this league, but Nepal, if they lost these two games, today and Monday, if we can play Monday, and then if UAE had another bad tour, which if you look at the first game, bowled out for 140, losing to an Oman side that we barely even recognised. Well, ODI status is on the line. Funding is on the line.